up, everybody? It's your boy Legal Mindset coming to you at 3 a.m. in the morning, Bangkok time, which means it is the witching hour for myself and for Disney. We're about to get barbaric on Disney when I get into this issue and really jump into the district reaction. There was some fantastic back and forth at today's district board meeting. We're about to get more views than that district board meeting did, but I'm going to break down exactly what went on today regarding this annual pass scandal, which is now up to $2.5 million. And that's just looking at really one fiscal year of inappropriate benefits to Disney. So we are up to $2.5 million in misappropriated funds. This is huge. Now, there is pushback. Disney Twitter is taking this the wrong way. They're not understanding this. So I'm here to bring the facts and not the feelings, not the snorting pixie dust. We are talking pure, straight, from the faucet mindset. Mindset gold, right? Mindset gold. I am not muted. And this is indeed live. So good to see all of y'all in the chat today. I love all y'all know how to troll me now. Very well, but appreciate all y'all. I was queuing up some video. It took me a while because I have a clip that I'm gonna play of the board member, and then I'm gonna play the firefighters as well. So let me just get a little reminder for you guys who may not know. So catch up for those that were not paying attention yesterday. Maybe you were asleep, whatever. And by the way, hello to everybody, whether you're on YouTube, Rumble, or Locals. We are having a menage a trois with the platforms right now, and I'm not really complaining, right? So shout out to everybody, no matter what platform you are on. I am glad you are here right now. Yeah, you know it's live if I'm sporadically cursing. Oh man, oh god, it's so crazy. All right, so let's get into them. Yeah, these are AKG headphones. Somebody said they never heard of AKG. AKG is essentially Samsung. So it's essentially Korean goodness, and they're fantastic headphones, very comfortable. They were the most comfortable ones I tried, and the performance, the specs seem to be fine. The sound is fantastic. So I've got no issues with these headphones. They're fine for me. But yes, Rumble is on too. So you can head over to Rumble if you want to roll over with the Rumble ghetto. That is perfectly fine. I see upon the horizon, Danielle's over there. So anybody who wants to head over to Rumble, that's up as well. So you've got options here. You've got options. And then of course, Locals is up if you're really degenerate and want to post dirty mouse memes. That's totally okay. So let's go to the first thing for a little catch up, the invoice. Let's talk about that. So in case you were sleeping yesterday and you did not catch any of my streams or my summary or whatever else, first of all, you're a loser. Second of all, here's the receipt. Here's the killer receipt. This is 1 quarter, right? 1 quarter, just what they spent in 1 quarter on tickets for the employees of Reedy Creek. Now it appears that the prime recipient were the firefighters. Now there may have been others that were there and that were involved in this, like managers, for example, that got these free passes. But the firefighters definitely were promised this as a benefit, and they put it in writing. They put it in writing for a long time, not just in an invoice, but I guess it was a contractual benefit of the firefighters, which now they're going to be opening up those books, auditing those books, and also auditing the council and the administrator who entered into these clearly illegal agreements. But what happened is they were paying for Reedy Creek employees with tax money. They were paying with tax money for Disney tickets. Think about that, guys. It's like if let's say you lived in Miami and they're paying for Dolphins tickets for all the employees. You cannot do that. That is a misuse of public funds, and it benefits one business. You can't just benefit one business. You need to benefit everybody neutrally. What about people who don't like to go to Disney? What about people who don't want to go to Disney? What about people who don't use that benefit at all? Maybe they just get it and they don't really use it, right? That's not fair to them. And it's not fair when Disney is also receiving money from the district for contract work. So while Disney is being paid for tickets, they're also being paid as a contractor of the district. They're being paid tens of millions of dollars on the regular as a contractor. So they are getting massive revenue from the district. You cannot do that. In Florida, it is clearly illegal to take gifts from private parties. This is illegal. This is essentially a gift, right? It's a form of gift in a way because it's an attempt to influence the district. So this is in paper. I cannot believe they invoiced it. You see right here at the top, you see Reedy Creek Improvement District, and then you see the little smiling Mickey up here. You know, right here, he's smiling as he's committing mad crimes, But that's what's up with this and this invoice. You can see here that just the ticket line was $492,000, but the total invoice for the quarter was $533. And this is just Q1, okay? Just Q1. Well, here's what happened today. The firefighters, some of the firefighters, they got angry. And they came to the meeting today and they got uppity. So what I'm going to do is I am going to play the video afterwards. But for now, I just want to show you this article. So Disney World, this is from www.magic.com. Of course, this is going to be misreported because these folks don't know what the hell's going on. But they're saying they speak out against DeSantis. First of all, DeSantis does not control the board anymore. The board makes the board's decisions. This is a legal decision. This is not a DeSantis decision. It doesn't matter who the governor is. Even if they're a Democrat, you cannot openly violate the law. Just because you get away with it doesn't mean you can do it. If an officer pulls you over and sees you smoking a crack pipe, you can't tell them, well, officer, I've been smoking the same crack pipe every single day of the year. I've been driving my car smoking a crack pipe every day, and I've never been caught before. That's not a defense. Just because you haven't been caught is not a defense for a crime. So that's something you got to bear in mind here when you hear these people talking. Just because Disney got away with the crime doesn't mean it's okay to keep doing it. People are like, really? You can't do that? Yes. That is indeed like that. It's indeed like that. Also, shout out to everybody that helped me get to 104K. Appreciate y'all. There's 600 of you live right now watching me. Please smash the like button right now as we get into this topic, as we go deep, and as we listen to some of the reactions. Also, I want to get here some of the member chats. There were two in particular, and they may have been a little bit before I launched. Let me see. Yeah, I think they were before I launched. They didn't register, so I'm just going to read them real quick. The first was from Alan West, who's a member for 4 months. He says, don't drop the soap rats. Yes, thank you so much. And then we have Patrick Kennedy, the gangster, the OG, who just dropped 5 Legal Mindset memberships. Please, guys, say thank you to Patrick. This is great. Thank you so much. And guys, thank you to all members of the RPG, the Replay Gang, or the Base Legal Mindset. I told you guys, I'm going to have 1 members only video per month minimum out to you guys, probably more, but at least 1 to you guys every single month. And of course, members know you get to really support this channel, help me do this as well, get access to the emojis, the Discord, everything else. So appreciate all you that are members on this channel. And I'm going to have updated emojis because the emojis are really from the Amber Turd era. We got to update to the Disney era. We got to get some rats. We got to get some custom rats in there. And if you guys have emoji suggestions, feel free to send them to me. And if you happen to be a graphic artist and you can make emojis and you send them to me, that'll be very helpful as well. So very open to that. Andrew Esquire live@gmail.com. All right. So of course, by the way, this is the pixie dust is high here, but you see here the plan to strip them of their benefit. First of all, this is not what is legally construed as a benefit. This does not meet the legal definition of a benefit. So obviously this WDW Magic staff doesn't know what the hell they're talking about. A benefit is a very specific thing. Now, I know people think you're benefited to, you're required to have a lot of things, but most things that jobs provide are not requirements. They're things they can choose to provide or not provide. The district is immediately suspending that the Disney Pass for everybody. And there were people that complained about it. And they found $2.5 million in charges here, right? $2.5 million in charges. Thank you, Leprechaun Gold, for the $4 super sticker. $4 make me holla. And also, thank you, Nicholas Atkins, who says, How many years back can they go and charge these council members for this if they do seek charges? You know, there had to be fringe benefits of family and friends of the council members that make the 500-year price tag. This is pork barrel politics. This is having a benefit that is not used by everybody, right? This is absolutely 100% corruption in its most tainted form. So let me just see, just for the of limitations. I'm gonna look at the statute of limitations. Florida for misappropriation of funds, right? So I think it's going to be at least 3 years. Okay, so 3 years is the minimum of the statute of limitations. It may be longer because this can be an ongoing fiduciary duty, right? But at minimum, they can go back 3 years. So right now, they've got $2.5 million for 1 year, for one fiscal year. So if they can go back 3 years, do the math, right? I'm a lawyer. I'm bad at math, but I think that's $7.5 million. And by the way, that's clearly enough for a highest degree felony, a first degree felony, which is 30 years in prison for misappropriation of public funds. So the people that are found to knowingly have done this are going to be in deep shit. Right now, if I was their counsel and I was their former administrator, I would be having heart palpitations because they have absolutely the duty to know this. I taught these laws. I represented special districts in Florida for a decade, not over a decade, but about a decade, a little bit under. And I taught people ethics laws. I taught people Florida law. And every single time I taught them about misappropriation of funds and gift laws. Even the normie politician guys who got hired to these boards or voted on these boards, these guys that were voted on, they knew this law. So, of course, their attorney, which went to law school, needs to know this. It is basic knowledge. If you don't know this, you are not qualified to be the attorney for a city, county, or local government. You are not eligible. You are too brain dead. You are missing a chromosome at that point. You deserve to be in an institution, not in a place of power, and certainly not having a bar license. And I hope the bar looks into this and takes disciplinary action on all the lawyers that were involved in this and knowingly did this. This is absolutely ridiculous and absolutely illegal under Florida law, very clearly. And it's unethical. It's clearly unethical. So it's like unambiguously unethical. So this is something that there's going to be action on. The district administrator, who's like the manager, think of him like the GM of the government, right? Which is also, ironically, my degree before I was a lawyer. I was going to be a manager for a city manager or a town manager, county manager. That was going to be my job. I would have been potentially in a similar role, like to represent a special district, run their budget. That guy should know too, because they teach those guys these rules and they know the rules well. So the administrators have to worry about it as well. As Pilgrim Media said right here for 2, ignorance of the law is not an excuse. Yes, mistake of law is not a defense. Mistake of law is not a defense. If you get pulled over for driving while you're drunk and you're like, I didn't know you couldn't drive while you're drunk, you are still guilty. Disney does not get to play by different rules because they happen to have a lot of money. Hellpike says, as a lawyer, are you surprised they made this mistake? How could they have made such a mistake? Hellpike, the answer is yes and no. And here's why the answer is yes and no. It disgusts me that any lawyer is this unethical. It disgusts me. But the sad reality is, particularly working with these lawyers, is I know they're that unethical. How do I know? I was on the other end of the deals with them. I was on the other side of the emails. I saw what they did. I saw the dirty tricks that they played. I know how the RCID lawyers play and how their counsel that worked both for Disney and for Reedy Creek, their double dealing counsel, that was unethical. I know how they play. I'm not surprised that the dirty people that I knew were dirty back then when I was dealing with them are still dirty now. I'm not surprised at all. And I am a little bit dirty. I do need to take a shower. It is kind of hot here in Thailand. I do need to take a shower after this. I probably will. It's kind of hot in here. I might have to, hold on. I'm going to have to kick on the AC here. You know, it's getting a little hot in the building. You know, when I want to get too sweaty in here, might resemble a rat. Might resemble a rat. So yes, I know how they did it. They did it because they were bending the knee to Disney, because Disney controlled the district for 60 years. When you are captured, We often call it regulatory capture. When you are captured by a business or an industry like Big Pharma, which has captured the FDA, which has captured a lot of these regulatory industries. For many years, Big Oil captured the DOE, right? When you have these situations, the regulators aren't regulating, right? The government is not a check on the business. The business is running the government. This is a huge problem. This is not capitalism, by the way. That is not capitalism. That is cronyism, right? Cronyism is not capitalism. And a lot of people confuse that. You know, corruption is not capitalism. Will Carl said, I would make an effective special prosecutor. Absolutely. Look, honestly, I'm going to say this, like in all fairness, I am not a prosecutor personality. I am not a prosecutor personality. Typically, I am the presumption of innocence person. And by the way, even Disney and their cronies deserve a fair trial. Even them, even though I'm worked up against them, they deserve a fair trial. However, I am convinced that at a fair trial, they could be proven guilty. Okay? Now, or they can enter into a settlement agreement, which, by the way, is what they would likely do. They would likely say, oh, mea culpa, I'm sorry, scusi, mi scusi. And they would get a little slap on the wrist. They would get, you know, maybe probation, right? They're not going to throw them in for, maybe they don't throw them in for 30 years in jail, right? They say, okay, we're going to give you a little, you know, if you do some probation, you pay a fine, right? You have money, you buy your way out of jail. Okay, you know, that's something that may happen, right? It's likely that could happen. However, I think that these people should be taken to task, because this needs to be a standard. We need to set a standard for all the businesses, to say, this is not acceptable. This is illegal. This is what we tried to stop. And you know what's not fair? There was a guy in South Florida. He was in South Florida on Miami Beach, the north part of Miami Beach. He stole $2,000 on a company credit card, or on a government credit card, $2,000. And he got convicted of a felony and did jail time, right? The rat over here has stolen $2.5 million, and some people may get away scot-free. That's kind of effed up, but sometimes that's how the system works, unfortunately. And I think the system does need to be reformed to the effect that people can weasel the way out. The thing is, though, Florida is not happy with them. So I think this could go a bad way. So guys, we're going to tune in right now. What we're going to do is we are going to watch the CFTOD meeting. So this was actually the meeting from today. Let me share this audio with you guys. And hopefully it is all working all right. So the CFTOD, this is the new district. They have their own YouTube page. So nobody watches these. They only literally got 400 views on this. In fact, most of the views are probably me reloading this page, right? They had some comments, and that's what I want to get to today. Okay, so we're going to get into that. We're going to get into these comments today. This is a district meeting. Now, we're not going to watch the whole thing because it's like an hour, and I don't know if you guys have ever watched a whole meeting. They're kind of boring. Maybe we'll watch a whole one in the future. I'll do a live stream where we watch everything live, where we go end to end, and we watch the whole district meeting live, so you guys understand what I did. And I'll point out, like, on these boards, like you'll see their council, or maybe they'll have somebody there that they're representing them, and I'll say, that was me, right? I was there. I'll do that another day. This is a replay. This already happened, but it happened today. It actually happened a couple hours ago. So this only ended a couple hours ago over in Reedy Creek. So we're going to play this. This is during the public comment section. So as part of these meetings, before the meetings start, there is public comment. So this is typical. The public is allowed to comment on anything at the meeting in the beginning of the meeting. Now, you can't comment on it contemporaneously unless the district makes that a rule. And I had one district that absolutely had this ridiculous policy that on everything they voted on individually, people could have comment. It was ridiculous. Like, our meetings went like 4 hours, but it was at a retirement home, so they kind of had nothing better to do. But I wasn't complaining because I was being paid at hundreds of dollars per hour to sit there. So I just sat on my phone and played a game while they were there. So let me get these comments before I go here. Irate Specialist says we all need to take a shower after Disney. Absolutely. And let's see. Oh, Grant posted, I want to get this one. Grant said, however, regardless of the date the fraud was or should have been discovered, an action for fraud must be begun within 12 years after the date of commission. Yeah, this obviously, the date of commission, here's the thing, the date of commission, Grant, it's an ongoing duty. So like that duty is throughout time. So for example, this invoice that starts in March of 2021, that still allows them to go after that. And then once they toll that by beginning the actual lawsuit, once they toll that by filing the lawsuit, they're able to go back in time from that and take previous invoices. I hope that makes sense. So all they have to do is file a lawsuit within 12 years of 2021, 2022. So as long as they file it before 2034, they'll be all right. So I think we're going to be all right here. I think they're going to file before 24 or even 4 years, right? Even 4 years. So like, let's say 4 years, right? So, okay, they have to file before 2026, right? They're going to file before then. I wouldn't, the statute of limitations is not going to be an issue. My point is the statute of limitations is not going to be an issue here. So don't worry about that. I don't think that's going to be material to this. John D says, Captain John D, and John D, shout out to you. I'm going to actually use your clip of the reaction from the board. I'm using the raw dog video for the firefighter reactions, but I'm going to go back and use your Twitter. So thank you to you and appreciate you supporting the channel and appreciate you shouting me out on Twitter. So thank you so much. But pixie dust is stronger than crack. Keep up the amazing work. I will 100%. So let's start in with this. This is the public comment period. So this is random members of the public commenting. And let me answer this before I go. Mickey Sightings. Do the Reedy Creek firefighters understand what was happening was illegal? Is there a legal way they could receive this benefit in the future? I'm going to answer this question. Mickey Sightings, I'm going to pin your question. This is a very good question. I'm going to answer this question. Okay. So don't get it in a lit. And yes, I am actually teaching business law for Andrew Branca starting in September. So, I know business law, I know government law, I know this stuff down, and especially the regulatory laws. So this is stuff I know you need to pay attention to. Let me continue.
Good morning. I'm speaking on my own behalf of my family.
This guy's volume is low.
Fire department here for 6.5 years.
He's a firefighter.
Speak today on the heartfelt desire to keep our annual passes and the other perks that come along with working here and that have for 51 years. I feel like I can speak to this topic from a unique perspective that only a handful of people here have. I can only think of 2 others. My father worked here as a firefighter paramedic for 26 years, and with that, he earned a lifetime pass for his dedication to the department.
See, so here you go. What did you say is, my father worked here and he earned a lifetime pass. So I'm gonna repeat this, right? Yeah. Oh my God, so loud. Yeah, this guy, I mean, he's not on the mic. There's no way to turn this up, guys. This is literally maxed, even internally. This is maxed on every source here. But I'll repeat it. So his father worked here and earned a lifetime pass. They're perceiving it as a benefit. So their perception is that it is a benefit like retirement. That's not accurate. It is not like retirement at all. It cannot be treated like retirement. That's illegal, right? So it's not something you have in that way, right? And that's probably why they were paying out. They were paying out for lifetime. And this is why they got this benefit for lifetime. So Disney could make that money for a lifetime, if you guys get it, right? And right here, Nick, the good comment, government employees cannot earn a benefit from a private company. Exactly. Oh, you want me to turn on subtitles? Okay, let me see if they're unavailable. They're unavailable. That's really weird. What are they? They're unavailable? Wow. CFTOD. This is them. Get on that. Make subtitles available. But I'm going to summarize because this guy's got the beta voice, so don't worry. Alpha Mindset's got you.
This has been a generational benefit that I was able to have growing up.
A generational benefit.
I have decades of wonderful memories coming to Disney parks and staying at the Disney resorts throughout my childhood. I now have 3 girls of my own.
He has girls.
6, 3, and 1. When entering this,
so they want to go and be princesses.
I'm a firefighter with Reedy Creek, and one of the biggest draws was the chance to be that dad that was able to make those same memories.
So in summary, he has daughters and he wants to go there with his daughters. So he wants to use this benefit as for his daughters. That's his selling point for being a firefighter here, is that. Yeah. It's a firefighter. He's about to cry, I think.
I was able to make with my dad.
Okay.
I vividly remember getting the job offer to work here and barely being able to control my excitement at what that was going to mean for my growing family. Along with those passes are a lot of benefits, such as the hotels, which I was able to use 3 times this summer with my girls.
Okay, so there was also a hotel discount program, right? So he's crying right now, by the way, guys. They're pretending to cry or sniffle, whatever. So there's hotel benefits, water park benefits, there's discounts and stuff. Once again, discounts that a private corporation is giving to public employees. There's 2 firefighters I want to show here, guys, too. So this is real. This is real from today.
Most fire departments are very local. You work where you live. This department is very unique, as we have people coming from Jupiter, Fort Myers, Tampa, Ocala, Daytona, from all over the state. They were attracted here, and one of the main things that attracted them here was the park passes for our families, because otherwise it's simply unaffordable.
Well, let me pause this real quick about unaffordable. They can pay you more, right? If you aren't getting paid enough, how about you negotiate for a higher pay, right? They can just pay you, right? Yeah, I get it. And look, I understand, like, you have a relationship with your dad, whatever. You know, my tattoo is like kind of dedicated to my dad. Look, I get it, right? I get it. That's important, but it's really about now the loss of these passes. So let me keep going here.
I hope that you would all reconsider. We could find a solution that would still allow us to be able to have that benefit for our families. I know I'd be very appreciative. Thank you.
And by the way, the compromise here is that, and just to show you how his reaction is kind of ridiculous, their compromise is that they're going to pay them a stipend of $1,400 a year. Let me say that one more time. Instead of giving them a Disney pass, they're going to give them money. They're going to give them $1,400 a like regular as a stipend, right? That's very much reasonable as a replacement, right? You can buy for $1,000 a year. You can buy an annual pass, right? You can buy multiple annual passes if you want to for that cost, right? And people who don't want to go can just use it. They're not stuck using it. They're not stuck in Central Florida. He mentions that people come from all over. They're not stuck there, right? So this is what he's not being reasonable, because they are giving them a solution. He just doesn't like the solution because he has 3 daughters. And what he wants is this guy wants the premium package, right? So he wants for his 3 daughters. See, here's what it is. His 3 daughters were allowed to kind of come in under his pass, right? So he has 4 people, probably a wife too, so 5, right? Or you know, I don't know, maybe a husband, maybe it's in, you know, who knows, right? We're in 2023. Whatever it is, right? No judgment. But he's got 5 people coming in, let's say, and so he's saying, okay, the cost of 5 annual passes might be more than $1,400, right? But you're not entitled to have passes for each and everybody, you know, everybody and their mother, right? It's not the same thing. It is absolutely asking for a massive benefit. People are saying no wife. Who knows? But yeah, generations of getting this benefit. Scorpid Red Black Dragon says rat traps out. Call an auditor. Alert prosecutors. Yep, this is a massive red flag. So this is where the prosecutors are going to be on this. Now let's see the next guy, because there's another guy who's going to come out here.
Thank
Another
you for your
firefighter.
comments, and thank you for your service and your father's service.
And the board member is polite enough to say thank you for your service.
Ricky Clark. And again, if you're here in a represent capacity, sir, please tell us who you represent.
Ricky Clark.
My name is Ricky Clark, and I'm a retiree from the fire department.
Retired fire department.
My son. And it's just odd that we are both here at the same time for this reason. But anyway, I worked here.
So wait, is this the guy's dad? I think this is the guy's dad, and he's pretending that they're just there at the same time. I think he just said that, like, we happen to be here at the same time. I don't think it was a mistake. I think it was absolutely intentional that they both came, because I think these guys benefit a lot from the program. But let's go here. All right, come on, Disney lag.
Formerly known Reed Creek Fire Department for 26 years.
Yeah.
During my tenure, I enjoyed a job that offered me a good work environment. Perfect? No. But I was proud of where I worked.
Not perfect
I
work
loved being a
environment.
firefighter, paramedic, and helping people in need. During my time here, we were guaranteed a longevity benefit of lifetime pass after 15 years of service. This is a benefit that my family has enjoyed for years and that I feel I rightfully earned.
It's not a benefit.
And to think
You
that
didn't
this
earn it.
benefit is in jeopardy is very disturbing. To think that this benefit is in jeopardy for any employee is disturbing. My family made many wonderful memories visiting.
I can't.
Force,
Volume's
spending
maxed.
quality time together, memories that cannot be replaced. And now my son works here at the fire department and is wanting the chance to give his family the same opportunities that I was able to give to mine so that they can make their own memories.
Okay, so TLDR, because the sound is low, this guy doesn't know how to use a microphone, but he's saying right here that he got this benefit for his son, and now his son, who was the beta who was just up there, they want that benefit too, right? They want to share Bud Lights together, and they want to go to Disney, right? This is what they want to do together for the memories, right? For Disney. And once again, he's using the term benefit without understanding that. So to answer the question earlier from Mickey Sightings about do they understand it was illegal, I don't think they understand that, right? And I don't think they understand it's not a real benefit. It's not retirement. It's not compensation. It's something else they got that they shouldn't have been getting. It was a illegal payment. It was an illegal gift, right? That's not the same thing as a benefit. So let's continue here.
With the retirees and the current employees, we all worked hard and have given and are still giving their best because we think highly of our profession. Not just anyone can do what we do. It is a special calling. And it seems that this current board is doing everything possible to dismantle what has already been agreed upon for the current employees and what was earned by the retirees. And I understand the governor's issues with Disney. I do.
Okay. Here we go. Okay, so here we go, guys. See, it always circles around to the governor. Let me say this loud and clear for everybody to hear. All those soy boys across the internet, the pixie dusters, all of you, pay attention. This does not involve Ron DeSantis. Stop using Ron DeSantis as your scapegoat to get out of this. This is illegal. This is straight up against Florida law. I said, as a Florida lawyer, this is my legal opinion. This is illegal, right? You cannot do this. As a local government lawyer, spent a decade in this. It's not permissible under Florida law. This is something that should never have happened. It doesn't matter what the governor is. It doesn't matter who it is. Period, hands down, this is not permissible. Stop, full stop. It's not okay under Florida law, right? So whatever was happening, whatever happened before, it is what it is in the past, right? And people that were responsible for that will be held responsible, but you cannot continue to have something happening if it is illegal, right? And it's not Ron DeSantis that makes it illegal. It's been illegal before DeSantis.
I'm asking you to reconsider removing the annual pass for the current employees and the lifetime pass for the retirees that I feel was rightfully earned. Thank you.
Okay, so that was his comment there. His comment was he feels like he wants you to return it for the retirees. So he wants retirees to get this benefit back. Yes, he used the word benefit. And he wanted to make sure that the retirees get it and the current people get it as well. So that's why they're making these massive payouts. It's because they want the firefighters to get this forever. And over here on my locals, we have a quick comment here over on my locals. So let me get that tab right quick, which is the phrase Stalin, $1,000 stolen is a crime. 2.5 million stolen is praiseworthy. To paraphrase our boy, Uncle Joe over there in Soviet Russia. Absolutely true. Absolutely true. Can someone make an "Are You Live" sticker with Andrew? So FU uncovered lamp. Let's type that back on locals here for that comment. But also, if someone does make that, that would be awesome. That would be awesome. Like, are we live? But it's hard to make into a sticker because you have to make it really small. To make the stickers, the emojis, they have to be really, really small. So that's the problem with the emojis. And let me see the questions here. Stuttering Guitarist says, Can't Disney donate the passes and get a tax benefit instead of tax funds be used in the transaction? They could have, but they didn't. What they could have done is this. They could have set up a 501c3, and the 501c3 could have they could have donated them to a 501c3, and the 501c3 could have given them to the firefighters. That's how I would do it if you wanted to do it. So think about it this way. Disney has the passes. Out of the goodness of their heart, they are given to the 501c3, which is a separate corporation. It's a non-for-profit, right? The non-for-profit gifts them for free to the public entity. That might be okay. It still is shady. It's still questionable. But like there's that we could talk about that. Maybe that would be okay. Maybe, but probably not, because Disney has such influence and they're such a big contractor that it's probably not okay. It's probably still not okay, right? It's probably still not something you should be doing, even doing it that way. But at least that way there's the permissibility. The problem is that they put it in an invoice. Is that they invoiced it? The problem is they directly invoiced this. That's the problem. They literally have it as a corporate invoice. I've showed you guys the invoice. We'll pull it up one more time for posterity, guys, because I cannot pull this thing up enough, right? You know, having that here is a huge problem. It's a massive problem. And mind you, you're not supposed to charge taxes to a government. And I'm not sure I think they probably exempted them from taxes here. I don't see any taxes on this. But that being said, why are they charging them for service awards? That's another thing. They have service awards. They're paying Disney to give awards to their own workers. This does not make sense. This does not make sense at all. Some chats here. Holden, his CAC says, for Canadian $6.99, so it seems like these guys are unwittingly just digging the hole deeper for the former board in Disney. Yes, it just goes deeper because they're showing that Disney never explained to the common man that this was what was happening. They misexplained it. Let me be very clear here. Let me be crystal clear. No Disney firefighter is going to jail for this. Every Disney firefighter is going to be in the clear. They didn't know any better, right? It's not their job to know the law. It's a district council's job to know the law. It's their lawyer's job to know the law, their manager's job to know the law, and you damn well better believe Disney knew this law, particularly since their lawyer was serving oftentimes as counsel for both Reedy Creek and for Disney. They were double dealing, right? Which is very unethical, but you know, they were doing that. They should know better. You cannot do that. It's basic bitch stuff. Excuse my language, but I get pissed off about unethical behavior. It's really bad. Worse than me cursing. Corey Cass says, who's been a member for 6 months. Wait, this is live? It's live? Are we live? I don't know. Can you read super chats and member comments in a pre-recorded video? I don't know. It's the mystery of the universe. It's the mystery of the universe. The deep mystery of the universe. Okay. Oh, and let me just check over here on locals, because we got a $5 from Patrick. I'll just read it from Patrick Kennedy. $5 on locals, a special calling, firefighters, police, emergency services. Is it a job or something we expect from the government? We pay taxes for some of this. Yes. And here's the thing. There's other people paying taxes for this other than Disney. There's hotels in there. There's businesses in there. There's restaurants in there. Why are they subsidizing Disney tickets? It's stupid. It's ridiculous, and it's illegal, right? And it's coming from Patrick. Patrick, like many of you guys in the chat, by the way, shout out to my veterans. I'm actually going to have a lot of programs helping out vets who want to move abroad soon in the near future. So stay tuned for that. But that being said, you know, you guys, like Patrick is a veteran, like a lot of other folks out there are veterans. You guys understand like what is something that you got as part of your employment package, what's you're agreed to, and what's something that's above and beyond. Like you guys get it. I don't know what's wrong with these firefighters. I guess they just weren't explaining things very well. And the board should be educated. Now we're going to get to the board's response. So here's the board's response. And I want to give a little bit of a special shout out here to Captain John D, who's actually the one who I got this from, and now it's lagging. So maybe I should blame him for that, but no, I won't do that. All right. So let me share this with you guys and we can listen to this. So this is courtesy of our good friend, Captain John D. And this is the district's response. So it's 7 minutes, and we're going to listen to this response. Before that, thank you so much, Leprechaun Gold, $50 super chat. Make me holla. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Appreciate your support of this channel. Appreciate all the very adorable Shiba Inus that you send over. Me likey Shiba. Me likey Shiba. All right, let's go.
I think it'd be appropriate at this time for me to respond to some of these comments. And let me first address the firefighters. As you know, the old board
He speaks
was in
better.
negotiation with the firefighters, trying to come up with a contract for 5 years. This board has only been on the job for 6 months, and we were able to bring that to a conclusion.
So just so you understand, Disney had been fighting with the unions for years. For years, they've been fighting with the unions, right? They haven't been giving them what they want. They actually were working under an expired contract, right? The firefighters didn't even have a deal anymore. They were working with no deal. You know what's really funny about Disney? For all they are like this leftist organization or whatever else, they are 100% full of shit when it comes to unions. They will absolutely shaft them over, fight them, nickel and dime them. But, you know, they've got to speak up for the LGBTQA++ stuff, right? Disney has to speak up for them. But when it comes to the unions, like the firefighters or the screen actors or the writers or whatever else, they're cutthroat with those guys, right? They're cutthroat with those guys. So it's always been insane to me. That's always been very, very insane to me. And thank you guys, my new headphones. I'm liking them. I'm liking the AKGs a lot. They're quite nice. They're quite nice. But that being said, they were negotiating with them for a long time. The CFD TOD came in and they signed a deal like that. They signed a new deal like that. It was closed, right?
And I believe it was a favorable conclusion. And we negotiated with the union. As you know, unions provide collective bargaining services for their members. They charge them for that. They are very, very capable at negotiating. They're tough negotiators. I know because I was part of that. And they also hire very capable counsel, labor counsel, to negotiate their contracts. And we have a contract, and it's a very good contract. And we got a letter from Mr. Shivey earlier in the week addressing some of the same issues about these benefits. And so we contacted.
And by the way, look, I don't care how you guys feel about unions, because some of you may think unions are good. Some of you may think unions are bad. And you know, we can have a debate on that, right? We can definitely debate on that. And obviously, a lot of people are of the opinion that unions don't represent that unions do not represent their constituents anymore, right? They're not truly doing a good job for their constituents. But some people say, no, they do. They're great. They're necessary, right? We can have that debate on a different stream. But I can say this. Unions do not stop when it comes to hiring lawyers and really hiring lawyers to like hammer things home. So for good or for bad, right? Because lawyers can be evil, right? Lawyers can be bad. So I mean, I tend to be of the belief that most unions I've encountered, including union lawyers, I despise them. I think they're horrible. I think they're absolutely nasty, the ones that I've dealt with. However, I've had other people make counter arguments. So I'm willing to listen, but generally that's my sentiment. And I'm just being honest with you guys. So, you know, that's been my personal experience with unions, particularly in the leftist states like Hawaii and California. It's been a nightmare, right? It's been an absolute nightmare. But let me continue with this. So they were negotiating with the unions on the contract, and this benefit, right? And I'm going to use this in quotation marks because it's not a benefit. This illegal gift was part of the old contract that they were trying to roll into the new contract.
Contacted our counsel and said, you know, what's the deal with the benefits in terms of the firefighters? And what we were told is that during the negotiations between the capable lawyer for the union and our capable lawyer, that this issue came up. Okay,
yes.
And that there is a provision in the contract that addresses that. And so we will rely upon our lawyers to tell us what we're obligated to do. And we're going to do what the contract says. But in terms
Which, by the way, full stop here, full stop. That's the right move there. Listen to your lawyers. Always listen to your lawyer. If your lawyer tells you this is what's required, rely on your lawyers, because if you're wrong, your lawyer is on the line, not you. Rely on that lawyer's interpretation. If a lawyer is telling you to do something, do it. Usually lawyers are like cagey, but when they tell you to do something, you definitely want to do it, right? You definitely want to listen to your lawyer. So that is actually the right position. By the way, for those who aren't familiar, this is a board member. This is a member of the CFTOD. So he's speaking in response. He's speaking in response to the beta firefighters that were speaking earlier, the ones with the low T. Yeah, those guys. He's responding to their whining about losing the passes, right? So that's what he's talking about now. We got a couple more minutes of this.
The firefighters, you had really capable legal counsel negotiating on your behalf, and that was an issue. And so the contract will determine what it is with respect to the firefighters. Now, with respect to the change in policy, I've read some media reports, and a number of them have been inaccurate.
Yes.
I don't think that anything was intentional. I just think
No, he's wrong on that. See, he's being nice. It was 100% intentional. The media reporters at this point are writing BS. They are shills for Disney. We read that article from WDW Magic. That is high on pixie dust and BS. It is absolutely the Disney angle. It is literally coming from the Disney press office. It might as well be coming directly from Disney PR, right? Which is why I try to do these things on my channel, because I feel like sometimes I'm the only one who isn't sitting in the Disney PR office. Me and maybe Valiant Renegade and a couple of the others guys, WW Pro, those guys. But I mean, everybody else is like sitting in their PR office, like literally just fluffing them. And I'm like, no, this is wrong. This is absolutely not right. It's incorrect, right? Guys, we also have 1,400 almost watching, and we only have 500 likes. So if you guys could smash the like buttons, I would absolutely 100% appreciate that. And I also want to give a real special shout out right now to Joe Stu, who's been a member, who's a new member, and he just dropped 10 gifts on you guys. He's making it rain. So appreciate it, Joe Stu, for dropping those 10 Legal Mindset memberships. You are an OG. Guys, make sure you have it's set up to accept gift memberships. Much appreciated there. And Patrick Kennedy, who's a member for 16 months, says unions are like womans. Some of them are good, but if you want to deal with them, you need a good lawyer. Protect yourself. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Get that prenup, guys. And ladies out there, if you got money, get that prenup. If you got money, get the prenup. All right, continuing.
They don't have all the facts and don't have the full perspective of this policy change. So let me see if I can nip some of that in the bud. So there's really three reasons why we felt that there needed to be a change in policy. One, we felt that the policy discriminated in favor of one business in the district and against others.
Okay, let me break this down. Three reasons. I'm going to pause here. This is a great point, okay? Reason number one, it discriminates against some businesses and not others. It's in favor of Disney and against all the other businesses. They don't give free passes to the Marriott or the Hilton or whatever else, all the other things that are going on there, all the other businesses within Disney, within Reedy Creek, sorry, within the CFTOD. They don't give those benefits. Every business there doesn't get a benefit from the district. You have to give benefits to everybody or nobody. You can't just go and only benefit one business in a government. You can't do that. You can't. That's crony capitalism. If you're benefiting one sole business, not permissible, illegal under Florida law, right? Clearly unethical. So number one, discriminate against other businesses. Okay. So now we're going to go number two, right?
Two, we felt that the policy was inequitable with respect to our employees, and we've come up with a solution to address that.
Okay, so I hate the word equity. You guys know I hate the word equity. I really hate the word equity. However, this is an acceptable use of the word equity because he's using it correctly. What he means is that it's not fair to the employees that do not use it. There are some people that are pixie dusters. We all know this, guys. The pixie dust, the Disney craziness, the Disney sickness, you know, the perpetual princess, the Disney adult. We know it gets in your head. We know these people. You guys know these people. They've got 100 pairs of mini ears. You know who they are. You know them. You may have them. I'm not judging you. I'm just saying most of those folks, they are absolutely 100% going there a bunch. They're going there a ton. However, not everybody is a Disney adult. Some people just are trying to work a job and they're not using the Disney benefit. Maybe they don't have a family. It's not a big benefit for them, right? It's not a big benefit at all. Cheers, GXP said headphone dollars. Appreciate that. Thank you so much for the new hotness. Going gold, guys. I'm flexing on y'all. And Jillian N, welcome to the membership. Welcome to the replay gang. Appreciate y'all. And appreciate every single new member. New members are what helps the channel grow, what helps me continue to do this. It helps me to continue to put out great content day to day and just keep beating back the rat. So let's continue with this here.
And then 3, we felt like the policy had the potential of endorsing what would be an unlawful policy.
Wait, whoa. What did he just say? Hold on. Can we say that one more time? One more time. I'm actually going to rewind this a little bit so you can say that bad boy one more time. Tell it to me one more time, Mr. Board Member. What did you just say? What was that? Huh? What was that?
Of endorsing what would be an unlawful policy.
An unlawful policy. Ruh-roh, Scooby-Doo. Now, I get why he's saying potentially because it hasn't been proven at trial, right? You don't want to commit defamation. But, and everybody's, like I said, everybody's entitled to a fair trial. However, it's an unlawful policy. I'm telling you guys right now. Unlawful policy. He's being very careful because you don't want to say outright until you have a conclusive proof and you're ready to litigate and it's been filed by the AG and everything. You don't want to say it's illegal. He doesn't want to say from his position as a board member that what we do is illegal. That is something you got to be careful. Potentially. But guys, I have never heard this in my life. A board member saying that what the previous board did was potentially illegal. It is almost never said unless it's for sure illegal, right? This is the strongest language you're going to hear from that. So to me, I'm like, the fact that he said it, he's saying it here is insane to me. This to me is like, wow, Disney really messed up here. I mean, I've like I said, I've sat on dozens of these boards. I've sat through hundreds of these meetings, hundreds. I'm like, actually, probably maybe even over 1,000, honestly. I would have to go back and do the math, right? But at least hundreds, high digit hundreds of these meetings. I've never heard that. Holy smokes, we got 2 here. Dave Kimball and Ted Park coming in like gangsters here. I'm being shot up like it's a Chicago drive-by by David Kimball and Ted Park, who've dropped 10 and 10, 20 memberships to 0, and they are 20x based. Appreciate it so much, guys. Thank you so much. I hope to see a sea of green, a field of green, if you will, in the chat. Field of green being an inside joke for the golf course. That's at Disney, right? So maybe you guys get that. It's a little joke. It's lawyer humor. Let's continue here.
Let me address those. So with respect to the policy that's being changed, the old policy was that the board that was appointed essentially by Disney was paying $2.5 million a year to Disney for passes to be given to our employees. And so the benefit was exclusive to one taxpayer in the district. It wasn't a pass that the employee could take to a non-Disney business and say, I've got $1,000 pass or $2,000 pass, and I'd like to use it at a non-Disney restaurant or business or a non-Disney hotel.
So pause there. What he's saying is this is not an Amazon gift card, right? This is not a Visa card. This is not an Amex card. If this was something like a gift card, it would be okay, right? You are allowed to give a gift card. That's totally legal, right? That's totally legal. Yes, it is 4 a.m., by the way, where I am. I know somebody asked, is it 4 a.m. here? Yes, it's 4 a.m. You're welcome. You're welcome. You could give a gift card. You can't give something that can only be used at one business inside of your government. That just doesn't, that's impermissible. It's illegal. It blows my brains out, right? Gift cards could be okay. Now, I know that gift cards are not great. They're taxed. There's other issues, right? But at least a gift card is on its face. We call it facially neutral, right? A gift card that's like a neutral gift card could be okay. By the way, it couldn't be, I think I said Amazon. It couldn't be an Amazon gift card because that'd be one business. It could be a Visa card, MasterCard, American Express, some sort of like generic card that can be used anywhere. It has to be able to be used anywhere so that you go out and you spend it like cash. So essentially a cash equivalent. You could probably even give crypto. Honestly, like Bitcoin, you could give Bitcoin because you can pay in Bitcoin now. You could give Bitcoin, but you know, anything going beyond that, it gets a little too crazy, right? You can't pay in like, you know, frequent flyer miles or something like that's not, it's not okay. Mexican Iron Man, orale, says, listening while doing a corporate tax return, and I started my career in municipal finance and tax. This hearing is insane, unfreaking believable for me to listen to. Hold my beer and calculator while I puke. It blows my mind that this is real, dude. Mike, it blows my mind. I know you're busy and you're working, but you know, listen. You know, can a brother get a financial expert to step on here for 5 minutes? You know, I'm gonna slide into your DMs real quick, Mexican Iron Man, like a thirsty housewife, but hopefully you can pop on. And then Tank Rap for 20. What's up, Tank Rap? Been a while, brother. Miss you. Looks like Disney is circling the drain between Hulu this and lawsuits with the new district and the lawsuit with TSG, the new movie investment company. Yeah, they're just getting everything. And look, they're getting what they deserve, right? They're getting what they deserve. Honestly, this is something that's like a comeuppance. Like they've been running dirty dealings on their corporate side, on their boardroom side, here on the government side, and it's just catching up with them with the finance side with TSG. They're getting the consequences of their actions are coming due now, which, you know, you love to see it, right? You love to see it. R. John says, for $19.99. Says, I work for the government in Central Florida and I'm licensed throughout the state. I have to take an ethics class every 2 years. You cannot even take a $10 gift card legally. Thank you, R. Johns. Thank you so much. I've trained my boards, whatever the rules are, because they've changed over time. That's like, dude, if it's anything under 20, I used to say no, but even 10, you know, that can be impermissible. And particularly in a lot of different jurisdictions, they just say, don't take gifts at all, like 0 gifts. I wouldn't take gifts from anybody when I was in the position of public counsel. When I was the public attorney, I would not do that. I paid my own way. When we went out to lunch, I bought my own stuff, period, hands down. Now, if it's a private client, they can sugar daddy me all they want, right? A private client can do that. That's fine, right? If I'm representing Universal Studios as Universal Studios, they can sugar daddy me, and sugar daddy me they did indeed. But that's completely legal. They're not using taxpayer money, right? It's much, much different. All right, let's continue to play this video here.
So it was a policy that was created in favor of one taxpayer and not in favor of others. And of course, all the taxes are paid by all the taxpayers. And so we felt that really wasn't fair. And then 2, with respect to the employees, some employees that had large families gained a larger benefit. So if you had several family members, the pass that was being paid for would be worth up to $3,000 or more. If you were single, it was worth less than $1,000. And what we also looked at was to see if these passes were being used by everybody. And clearly, those who are here today used the passes. But we looked and found that in some years, only 30% of the employees used the passes. Other years, it was 50%. And I think the highest utilization was 67%. So we were paying as a district, or the old board was paying for passes that some of our employees weren't even using. And
that's crazy. And see, this is not fair, right? And he's confirming this with statistics, right? He's saying, look, they weren't using the passes. That's not okay.
So we said, how do we provide a more equitable solution to this so that it's fair and applied equally to everybody?
Yes. Also, I find 69% funny, but let's continue.
Everybody. And so what we decided is that we would gross up everybody's wages by $1,425. Okay.
Okay, so that means everybody gets an additional $1,425 in money, in cash money, right? They can spend that money how they want, including on buying an annual pass or several annual passes. They can do whatever they want to do. But that's permissible. That's totally okay. That's Gucci. It's not Gucci to give an annual pass. It's also not Gucci to sneak out of a widow's window in order to show up on a Legal Mindset stream. How's it going, Mike?
Hey, what's up?
You didn't think I was going to bring you in that quick, did you?
No,
you're a valiant renegade being slow. I'm on top of it, baby. This isn't a slow show. We're on our game here, baby.
Yeah, I'm used to 70 super chats stacking up unread.
Yeah, no. Your boy gets those with it. I have like a pizza guarantee. Your super chat is read within 5 minutes, or it's free. You know,
I love that.
It's my policy.
Andrew, you are so on the money. I got my start in corporate. I got about a half hour because I'm waiting for the bank to send me back loan conditions for a loan I'm trying to close for a client.
Sure.
He's got an SBA. He's buying one company, buying another company, and I did the audit. But thanks for the invite. And I just want to back up what you said. I got my career started in City of San Jose, County of Santa Clara. I started in municipal finance. My first assignment was how do we find money from capital improvement budgets in the special tax district so that we could reallocate them to operating expenses anyway, the bottom line is that I got my start, as you know, in corporate
municipal finance. And you know that this is not appropriate compensation. It's pretty clear.
I'm listening to this hearing and I am losing my mind. There would be a city attorney or a county attorney literally like drawing up charges with contacting the DA. If this happened anywhere else other than this is just unbelievable to me.
Just because Disney got away with it. Disney got away with it for like 60 years. And they're like, well, I don't know what the problem is because we've been doing it for generations. I'm like, you've been breaking the law for generations and people have been looking the other way. And nobody's had the balls to tell you to stop.
Right. And here's the thing is that frankly, listening to the firefighter guy, I've been sitting here doing these tax returns for this corporation, but before doing
the beta fighters. Yeah. Those guys.
So before doing corporate tax, I started municipal finance and I'm sitting here listening to him and I'm just like, not only is Disney feel entitled, but everyone that came in contact with the mouse is touched and tainted and feels entitled.
The mouse touches all that come in contact. That is very true. That is very, very true.
Basically, the firefighter guy is saying that he saw himself as an employee of Disney, and this was a perk.
Yes, and that's like, you're not a Disney employee. Like, let me tell you, did no one explain this to you? Were you not told that you're not a Disney employee? It's crazy. Hold on. Let's just finish this. We got like another 2 minutes, and I want to get you said like 30 minutes.
Yeah, I got 30 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll finish this up real quick. I want to get your reaction after this thing finishes, because it's wrapping up here.
And that was evaluating that some people weren't even using these passes. Some people were getting a benefit below that amount to the tune of about $900, and clearly some were getting a much higher benefit, but it wasn't fair. So we came up with $1,425 that we're grossing up everybody's wages that are employees in the park. Now, is that the right number? We don't know. Okay. If with further information we learn that number needs to be grossed up higher, we're going to gross it up higher. If we learn that it needs to be reduced, we're not going to reduce it. And so that's why we started at $1,425. So we are trying to equitably replace the policy that we've eliminated and trying to be as fair as we can to everybody. And I assure you, we will continue to evaluate whether $1,425 is fair to everybody. And then finally, let me tell you the other problem that it was creating. A private company cannot give gifts to government workers that provide services for them or have authority over them for obvious reasons.
Oh, hold on right there. Like, let's pause this real quick. It's so matter of fact for this guy. He's like, it is clear you cannot give gifts. This is obvious. Everybody knows this, right? It's like, it is known, right? Like, oh man. And so this is a third point. Before we get into that point though, real quick, Mike, on the grossing up. Like, how do you feel about that as a value? Just real quick, because his second argument was we're going to gross it up $1,400. Do you feel like that's adequate compensation, just in your mind? You know Disney, you know the cost of the parks, you know annual pass costs. Do you feel like that's a generally a fair number to gross up for annual pass benefit yearly?
I don't know. It's kind of I mean, look, going into Disneyland one time, one park is I think 150 to 108 is like $150, and I mean, I don't know. So if you go 10 times, maybe kind of, sort of, I guess.
Resident annual pass, though, like, you know, like, because like what you'd assume they'd replace it with, right? The 1-for-1 replacement is buying an annual pass, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So you can look at the resident rate and you can look at the non-resident rate, maybe average those. I think you can get a resident pass, a pretty high-end one in Florida for like what, $700, $800 for the.
Yeah, I don't know.
You know,
I don't know. Our passes, though, my family's had about a dozen, not anymore, but for better part of 2-3 decades, we've had probably about 8 to 10 passes, but they're all in California, so I don't know. I really
which is much higher, right?
But I think mathematically, yeah, I would agree with your reasoning. You take the average and stuff, but this shouldn't even be happening. Like it's
right. It should not even be happening.
I'm kind of choking, Andrew. I'm like.
Well, here's what their logic is. Their logic is because we've been doing it and they can perceive it as a contractual benefit, even though it's illegal. They might have some like contractual equity argument in court, and like there's a possibility. So to undermine that equity argument, if the union brought it to court, then they just pay, right? It's cheaper for them to pay out than it is to go to court and lose, or even go to court at all. So they're trying to undercut the court argument, right? They're trying to keep this out of court, right? So say, we're paying this because that's the monetary value of what we'd have to pay you out if we litigated this, and there's an equity argument, right? Like an estoppel argument, for example, even though it's illegal, right? And by the way, the court, if they went to court, the court would literally come up with something like this. The court would say, okay, so you can't do this for Disney anymore because that's illegal. So you have to stop your illegal thing, but you get money, right? That's what the court, that's the equitable solution. So a court in equity, that's what they're going to do. So it's just a matter of what's the right number. And like you said, look, you know, you can't say off the top of your head, right? You'd have to go in and do the math, right? But I'm sure if you went and did the math and you had the time and numbers and you crunched them, I'm sure you could come up with a reasonable number, right? Yeah, I'm sure you could come up. There's a mathematical way to do this.
Yeah.
So let's get into the gift argument here.
And many of the people that were receiving these passes had the notion, and by the way, it's been reported in the media, that these passes were being provided free by Disney. Well, that is clearly unlawful in Florida. Okay.
Yes, and this is a huge thing. A lot of these people did perceive them as free, and a lot of these firefighters and people on Twitter were giving off Disney. Twitter was sticking its foot in its mouth by saying Disney was giving these for free. These were not free. These were not free at all. Yeah. And that perception is a very problematic thing because that gets into
one of the analogies I like that we use. One of the analogies is a comparable benefit. Like, let's say, for example, this, Andrew, if you had 2 tickets, front row seat for a Taylor Swift concert, do those have no value, and are those ever really free? I mean, no, of course not.
No, not at all. Real quick, let's get this super chat. Steve C says occasionally a jurisdiction will lose a case because of selective non-enforcement of an ordinance over a long period of time. What are the odds Disney gets away with this simply because they've been doing it for long? Nope, you cannot do this. It's not. These are ongoing fiduciary duties. And now that you've discovered it, you have a duty to act, right? So now you have a duty to act, and that you've discovered that something's been going on. Now, the people that are really liable, and we'll talk about this after the video ends, but I think the council needs to be worried, the lawyer needs to be worried, right? But they knew better. They knew this was illegal, and they entered into these ongoing agreements. So,
well, the other thing too is isn't Florida one of those states where fraud law goes on forever? Like it doesn't have a.
It has a longer tail, right? And also this is public fraud, so it's a little bit different than like garden variety fraud. Okay. It's misappropriating a public fund, so it's a little bit of a different statute.
Is it worse or easier?
Well, they've met the threshold already.
Okay.
For misappropriation of public funds, like you have a prima facie case already based on the invoice. Dearest says the public worker believed he's a Disney employee. Yeah, the firefighter said that, right? You did say I'm part of the Disney family, part of their employees. Is it provable fraud on Disney? Well, somebody asked in the chat, is this admissible in court? Yes. Anything said during a government meeting is per se admissible in court. The judge can take judicial notice of it. It doesn't even need to be admitted as evidence. They can just say, in this government meeting, this was said. That's why they take minutes, right? These are official records. This video is a public record. So, guys, this is 100% admissible in court. All these statements are admissible in court, which is why, as counsel, when I was local government counsel, you better believe I told these bastards to be careful about what they say because it's admissible in court. And I told them, don't say anything you don't want admissible in court. And this guy's already said this is a potential crime and it's potentially illegal under Florida law. That's a lot on the record. That's a lot. And then Obadulo says, crying cult members losing their church pass. On point. On point. On that note, let's keep going here.
Disney cannot provide free passes to government employees that are providing services to them or have authority over them. And so we wanted to eliminate that concern. The one group that we haven't yet formulated a policy is with respect to retirees, okay? And that's something that we need to go back with our CEO and evaluate. And so some people are going to make out better with the $1,425 in terms of the employees. Some people aren't going to do as well. And $1,425 may not be the right number to be equitable to everybody. And we will continue to revisit that. With respect to the firefighters, we're going to rely upon the contract that the union capably negotiated and their capable counsel negotiated, and that the issue did come up. So whatever that contract obligates us to do, I promise you we're going to do. And
that's okay. So he wraps it there. All right. So that's where we're at. That's the end of that video. So yeah, thoughts, Mike? Seeing the end of that video there.
I really like his demeanor. I'm going to say this. I really feel that when he talks, we're listening to someone that understands. I see two things, Andrew. Number one, and having attended, I don't even know how many hours of city council or special board meetings, God almighty, back in the day that I did. Two things stand out. One, his demeanor very much conveys that of a steward, of a public steward, where he's sitting there saying, hey, my role is to be a steward of this board and do the right thing, take into consideration whatever the direction is from legal counsel, the law. I mean, this is someone here that is just literally embracing that stewardship role. The second thing that impresses me about this hearing is the level of conversation as in terms of procedural due diligence has been done. There's now this public hearing. I mean, look, I don't live in this district, but if I did live in this district and was one of the few residents, or if I were one of the families, I would at least say, if I were one of these families that's impacted, upset, not upset, whatever about these passes, I would at least feel that I'm in the middle of a fair process that's open and benign. I'm going to say it.
Yeah, no, and that's the point. This is public business. It is being conducted in the public. You're discussing it, you're debating it, they're airing it out, they're telling you their reasoning, right? You don't hear that from a corporation. They don't tell you why they're pricing their annual pass at whatever they're. This guy is telling you, here's our reasoning. We are open and transparent. This is why Florida has strong sunshine laws. We want to get all this out there, tell you why we're spending the money, how we're spending the money, give you a chance to push back. And by the way, I support the right of even the beta firefighters that think it's their Disney employees. I support their right to speak, their right to participate in the public process because they need to be educated. They clearly need to be educated on what is a benefit and what is something that is essentially an illegal gift and a misuse of public funds that's been going on for 40 years. So they need to be told, listen, legally we can't do this anymore, but we're going to do something that helps you. We're not going to screw you over completely. We're going to give you something that offsets that. Now, for some people, they may love this more than the passes, right? They said only 69% were using it, right? We're using the benefit at all, right? So it was not being used by 100%. And then of that, only a fraction of those were using it regularly. We're using it to the point where they're actually achieving the dollar amount value, right? Most people were not getting the value from it. There were some that were Disney adults, right? Those people that are the Disney freaks, they're getting way above the benefit. So it's an unequal playing field there. So you've got to cut something like that. You've absolutely got to get rid of it. Now, let's get, two super chats here. That dog in M says, as I said before, Disney told Florida to F around and find out. Florida finds out how Disney's been effing around. Absolutely. Absolutely. And the more we dig, the more we find. And all I've heard is this is the tip of the iceberg. And I told you guys when I went to my state prison video that there are so many crimes that they potentially committed when you look back in those books that I would be pissing my pants, my little Mickey rat pants. I mean, it would be terror in the house of mouse if they think about the potential scope of their liability here, particularly for their professionals like their counsel and like their other administrators that were kind of double.
You know who's sweating right now the most are the internal accountants that generated those invoices that are now all over the AP wire globally, worldwide. I guarantee you the internal audit department right now, they are freaked the F out.
Because they don't get national news. Like your invoice normally does not end up on national news, right? Where like you've been the one to paper this, right? You're the guy.
Or on a dozen YouTube channels that right now collectively are in excess of 1 million views with all the channels.
Oh, absolutely.
And
absolutely.
the clips.
Yeah, good job, Disney. You know, those auditors are like, you know, I mean, they're definitely having a fit right now. Lloyd's of London says if both parents are willing to work the rainbow community, we'll only get better. Someone has to stick up for them. Go Disney.
Wow.
Obdulio says, sounds like they're getting a very generous compensation for something they were illegally benefiting from, or they simply could have cut them off. Yes, they could have cut it off, but I see from a litigation standpoint and avoidance of litigation standpoint why they would give it, because you can always give people more money. You don't need a reason to pay people more. You can just pay them more. So that's okay. And it seems that they're doing it in a way. They had a union contract. I don't know what your experience with unions is, Mike, but the unions can be unions can be very litigious. So, you know, if they've got a union, they've got labor council, like you don't want to pay their labor. You're going to end up paying their labor council more than anything else. Like you don't want to pay those bastard attorneys. So I would say the payout is honestly cheap compared to the settlement agreement that you'd be paying. So, and it's going to people, not a corporation, right? That money is going to people, not a corporation, which I just don't see how these firefighters that are sad about it, right? They're not thinking about their fellow firefighters that don't use this benefit. They're being inconsiderate of them. They're thinking of themselves, right? Not their family.
Well, they're thinking of themselves. They're thinking of themselves above and beyond what is actually permissible by state law.
Right. Which is the problem. Captain John D says Pixie Dusters linking this firefighter backlash to DeSantis betrayal when they all received a 5% increase in bonuses from CFDOD. Annual passes are a hell of a hill to die on. Guys, the Pixie Dusters are going to pixie dust, man. Like, and the fact that they, no matter what, can link this back to DeSantis, every single one of those commenters, and there were actually some other civilian commenters, I cut them out. There was one lady I saw in this meeting that she would show up to every celebration meeting and always have an issue. And I always told her, I didn't bring her up because I didn't want to dox her or anything. And, you know, I've interacted with her, but whatever. But I told her, I'm like, ma'am, that's illegal, right? And she's just like, well, it's not right. And I'm like, I don't give a shit if it's right. Like, morally, it's illegal. Like, I don't care what you think we should do because you feel like it's not right. It's illegal.
Yeah. I remember in the olden days when we were striving for a society where right and wrong was what was legal and illegal. Remember when we were trying to improve our oh God, we're going so backwards so fast.
The ethics used to be important, right? Ethics used to be very important. But look, guys, this had nothing to do with DeSantis. This has absolutely no direction of DeSantis. They even said this came from their lawyers. Their lawyers told them this is illegal. DeSantis did not go back and say, do this. He wasn't like, you know, release the Ava. You know, no, this was not some Gendo moment for DeSantis. This was the lawyers saying, this violates the law. We can't do this anymore. Because if they do it, then they're committing the crime now, right? And then Disney could turn around and say, oh, look, you're the ones committing the crime. You endorsed it, right? So they have to cut it off immediately. They have to take action now. Yep. Stuart Nelson says, this makes use of Disney's Reedy Creek public funds for police services by Disney that much more egregious. People are going to jail. They're going to have to look in how that is. Now, you are allowed, let me be very clear. And this is, you are allowed to contract private security, right? So you are allowed to use public funds to get private security. That is okay. You can hire private security guards. You can hire Securitas or, you know, whatever other security groups you wanted to. You can do that. You can also contract for police services like off-duty officers, right? Totally legal, totally fine. However, what was the benefit of that? Here's the thing. Was Reedy Creek paying with tax money for police officers to guard Disney property alone? And that's what I think they said. They're investigating, and they think that they've got them on that. And that is a massive financial crime.
Oh, yeah.
That one's going to bring in Disney employees. That one will 100% bring in Disney employees, because who made the call to do that? Who was the one sending the orders of where the public paid police officers went? That's going to be a massive one. That's where they're nailed. If Disney's police officers, if the police officers that were hired by Reedy Creek were just going to Disney, Disney should have paid. And that's where Disney may end up paying millions in restitution, because those benefited Disney solely. That's where we're talking. Disney's finances are going to be, they're going to be really scrutinized here. This is going to open up Disney's books. I mean, would you agree, Mike, that these sort of financial crimes are going to end up leading into Disney's books, right?
Absolutely. And I think one of the big problems, I mentioned this at Midnight Edge After Dark last night on Tom Connors' show, but really one of the big problems is that this company, Disney, has had the same, quote, independent accounting audit firm, PricewaterhouseCoopers, since 1938, Andrew.
Yeah.
That in and of itself is not normal. Normally what happens is that every 3, 4, 5, maybe 8, sometimes 10 years. I mean, sure, there's a lot of corporations that have had the same one for decades, but generally, if you're having a company where things are clean and you get a new regime come in, you put that contract out to bid. It's kind of like this. If your house is in order, does it really matter to you who comes over, when they come over, and what they check out and see?
No, it doesn't matter. If your house is in order, anybody can check it and it's fine.
But
right?
But I believe that when you see a company that is essentially for going on 90 years to coming up on 90 going to be 80, 90 years that have had the same accounting firm, that's some institutional legacy right there. They not, PricewaterhouseCoopers knows where the bodies are buried, and they don't want any new firm coming in and checking things out. And if I were the Central Florida Tourism Oversight Board, first thing you know what the best money they could spend on, Andrew, right now would be a team of independent auditors from like a second tier non-global firm. Just pay them, give them $1 million contract and say, go at it. With $1 million, you get 10, 15 guys like me all year, like half a year, all year long. Just, dude, if this stuff ever, I heard you say it on a few live streams. So help me God, if we ever get real Disney financials, I will live stream till I
told you, I will be on that with you. We are going to do the live audit stream. You can do it. You start a channel, the Mexican Iron Man audit channel, right? The Rabbit Chicken audit channel.
I'll do it here with you on your channel. But
this would be, Mike, that would be, it's insane. This is the nerdiest thing ever, but people would literally stick around for a 24-hour audit stream where you're just sitting there like auditing the books. We're just kind of like looking through the books. It's just flick through the page. Okay, abnormality.
What do we have here? What do we have here on this PDF? And I would print everything out. I'd mark it up.
It'd be great. It'd be fantastic.
I'm not talking this bull crap they file with the SEC that has all these lies buried in there. I'm talking real stuff like that invoice.
Yeah.
Send me in, coach.
Which is why nobody wants to get to Discovery, because it will be a nightmare for them. And then the SEC is going to have to get involved. If this thing is over, these things get out. These things are out here on YouTube, wherever else. The SEC is going to eventually, even under Biden, they've got to do it, because you can't have open criminality, right? Like that's clear and it's just in your face. It's illegal activity going on, and that's, man. I taste it. I see it. I know it's there, but we haven't seen it yet. Lloyd's of London says, I call for 1 security guard for every 10 people. Hell's Pike says, for someone who is involved, let's say one of the accountants or current accountants, what should they do? Should they quit or lawyer up? Good question, Mike. I'm gonna give this to you. What would you do if you're one of the accountants, former or current, that was involved in this? What would you
honest
do?
To God, if God, well, first of all, if it were me, I never would. I mean, I wouldn't have enough brains to never do something like this. In fact, one of the reasons
quit, right? You would have quit if you were put in this position ethically.
People have asked why I don't do Hollywood, why I don't have an office in Santa Monica anymore. The number one reason is I was being asked to do stuff by Hollywood studios that I ethically couldn't look in the mirror and do. I mean, I was getting good money But I was starting to see this stuff where, like, they're going and pulling out 10 grand in cash on a Friday and asking me to recode it. And I know what that is on a Friday. That's hooker's blow and drugs. I mean,
right.
they're like, Mike, put it in meals and entertainment. I'm like, look, when you go to the bank, did you have to get exactly 10,000? You could have done like 19, 487, 53 or something. But no, they no, honest to God, if let me put you this way. Let's say I had a cousin or brother or sister that had and called me and said, what should you do? I say, you should quit and you should lawyer up and you should be a whistleblower and you should do it right now. If for no other reason, then you put it in the record that you can say that as this news hit the global scene, the AP wire, that you legitimately did not know that what you're doing might have a conflict of interest. You did not know what you're doing might be illegal. You were simply fulfilling your duties and obligations as a staff accountant. But I would immediately go see an attorney, and I would quit and find a new job versus sitting there hiding and waiting for the guillotine to drop. Because the thing is about laws like this, you talked about this at the beginning of the stream. I heard you when I was on hold, talking to the bank for my client's loan. But I had you playing in the other ear, and I heard you mention something that ignorance of the law is not an excuse.
It's not a defense. It's not a defense under the law. It's not a defense. Right?
So that's my advice to that super.
You have to go. You have a duty to educate. As a lawyer, we have a duty to educate ourselves. We can't say, oh, we didn't understand that. No, you have to educate yourself to be competent on that. And a lot of these are basic competence. Yeah. Like PwC's got to worry as well, right? I mean, they've got probably some sweat on their brow as well, I would imagine.
I've interacted with a lot of PwC types, and they're interesting, man. They're really
that's a separate stream, maybe. That's a separate stream.
Yeah,
separate stream. All right. Leprechaun Gold for $5 sent a Sheba. A good job, Sheba. Thank you so much. And 2012 Jameson says Disney's audit second to Hunter's audit in interest. Yeah, it's true. In terms of internet search, it's like Disney's audit is number one. Hunter Biden's audit is number one, and this is number two. It's up there. And people say auditing has become a cartel. Well, there's a certain. I mean, look. I mean, if you remember the housing crisis and the credit scandals, right? The credit rating scandals. I mean, I'm not saying it's exactly one for one comparison, but these things happen. You become captured by these industrial and commercial interests. And you become the yes man, right, for that because they're paying you the big bucks, right?
Andrew, even PwC, I found an article that I brought up on the stream. The PwC internal audit internship program is based, guess where? At Disney.
No.
Hold on, I'll find you the article right now. Hold on.
No way.
Watch, I brought it up on another live stream. Yeah.
That is such regular. And it's not, once again, it's not strict regulatory because PwC is private, but they're supposed to be independent auditors. How can you be independent if you are intertwined like that with? Oh no! Oh, guys,
the rats debauchery.
This is bad. This is real bad.
The rats debauchery. Hold on.
Knows no end. It knows no end. Like the whole is like, honestly, Mike, like you said, every single day, week, it's like, especially weekly, on a weekly basis, there's like a large scandal, right? This is like no other corporation. Can I say, you know what? With good faith, next week I will have a scandalous Disney story to drop. I've never had this before in my life. Like even with court cases, like Amber Heard versus Johnny Depp didn't get milked out this long. And it's not because of me. I'm reporting new news on this. Like, this is all new stuff every single week. I was going to do a stream on Koberger this week, but no, Disney just has to do something, has to be discovered, creating more crime issues. No freaking way.
Look, this is just on Reddit. Hey, guys, 3 months ago, PricewaterhouseCoopers Disney trip. Woohoo, let's go.
Oh, my God. That's crazy.
Look,
that is crazy that they're doing their intern fest at Disney.
Yep.
Oh man, that is.
And guess what? It's not even as if it's for the it's for the freaking audit interns. The interns that are going to become auditors at PwC that someday are supposed to go in and independently sign off They're gonna be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna independently review Disney's books.
Yes.
Meanwhile, I remember when I was just an intern that
A little
summer,
baby intern.
I stayed at Disneyland Adventure and got my speed pass or whatever it was
Right,
to
right,
whatever.
Genie pass or whatever, I got the Mickey and the Minnie ears. I got a cupcake. I remember all that. I know who's the daddy. And it's
how
Disney.
independent are you gonna be? I mean, seriously, you're gonna find an invoice like this. It's like guys,
Yep.
I think I found something questionable. Well, come on, Mike. I mean, you remember how good they were to us that summer. We had the internship program.
Remember
You're
that?
right.
Remember
I'll just code it as advertising.
Yeah. How did that be like, Mike? How did that Le Cellier dinner taste? Was that good for you? Was that good enough for you to overlook that?
Yeah, I'm gonna recode this invoice to office supplies.
Yeah, office supplies. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. So we're gonna hide the body. Econo Mouse says ethics rule number 1, do good. Ethics rule number 2, don't do a bad. Ethics rule 3, don't look like you're doing a bad. Yes, absolutely. Right? Just like be good, be ethical. Like it's not that difficult to do. It's absolutely ridiculous. Mike, I know you got to go, and my voice is really cracking here, guys. I've been soldiering on to get you guys this. It is 5 o'clock in the morning, almost here in Bangkok. So I've got to catch a couple hours of sleep, maybe questionably, who knows, before I stream again for my other show, Bangkok Bros. But until then, guys, one more here. Brandon the Anime Guy says, daily reminder to duck Fisney. Man, they are getting ducked hard. Isekai's life and their reincarnation will be a dung beetle. I did catch Reincarnation as a Vending Machine, an anime recap video. Actually seems kind of hilarious, Brandon. So some of these reincarnation ones are hilarious. Yeah, there's a lot of funny ones. So we'll talk about that in a future one on your channel, Brandon. With that said, guys, stay based. Catch you guys a little bit later. Mike, thank you so much for joining. Maybe hang out for 2 seconds, and I will catch you guys all later. Peace out. Oh, Courtney Cass says, PwC help with fraud in the Australian government IRC. I'm going to look into that. Well, I'm going to look into PRC. Maybe there's a PricewaterhouseCoopers episode. We're going to see. Maybe that's a future episode. All right. We'll talk later, guys. Peace.